All right, everybody. Welcome to the Do It for the Content podcast. I'm one of the hosts, OK Capitalist. To my left over here, we have the Owl Dot, formerly known as OWLMAN, famous hooer of Vrchat. To my right, we have TAWN, who is a professional chap sometimes.
Oh my God,
And
Yep.
to the right of her, Watermelon Injustice. Introduce yourselves, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
freaking
All right. So,
I love you, Owl.
I wanna thank you, Owl and Ton, for making for the podcast. It's been a long journey. You've been wanting to be on the podcast for a long time. I've been hearing Owl, but the question is, Owl, who are you? Why should people give a fuck about who you are? Let them know.
Yeah, let's go, Owl! Yeah!
Well, listen, I'm about to who it up for y'all.
And someone was made the
Apparently,
Al gets
apparently, I've just been pretty much the only owl besides the owl boy in VR chat. So I feel like I have a whole special place in this community because I who it up. You know what I'm saying?
Owl, what is hooing up? What is hooing it up with the boys?
Hooing up?
And who exactly are you?
I don't know. I'm the owl man. No,
Shut up. That was a good one.
Oh my god,
That's scary.
I don't know what's happening. I'll be honest.
Well, okay.
All right.
Owl, the question is, what is hooing it up? Tell us, because not everyone understands.
Bringing it up? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
To put some context, who is just a general term I use for pretty much any descriptive word, like was or like an action. I don't know how else to say it. Basically, hooing it up means doing it up, like just getting yourself pumped up, partying, that kind of thing.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Owl.
Interesting.
So now, Ton, tell us a little bit about yourself. Let the people know why you, the red-headed goddess or red-skinned goddess, mind you, should be noticed.
Mm-hmm.
She's a redhead loser.
Well, first of all, if you haven't heard of me, then you're a nobody. I'm Ton Extraordinaire. Everyone's heard of me, if they mean something. Model, artist, prop enthusiast,
nobody.
the best in the show.
Okay. So now we got to know who Ton is. So just to let everyone know in the crowd,
Who said that?
me, OK Cap, and Frost are long-time vets on VR chat. We've seen everything from the ERPs to the talent shows to the Crash Gangs to the Knuckles. We've seen a lot of shit, but we haven't seen a talking owl until we saw Owl Dot. And I gotta admit, Owl, when I was first looking up research on you, I was looking up the wrong person. Okay, Cap was telling me all about this owl guy. I was like, you know what? Owl Boy, the guy that made the pug. All right, I'm gonna look up all the information. I looked at his Patreon, I looked at his history, I looked at where he went to high school, and I found out like 5 hours ago, it's OWLMAN. So, but I do have good memory with OWLMAN. So, I would like to ask, have you ever been, you already admitted, but have you ever been mistaken for Owlboy, and any interesting situation that revolved around it?
Oh, crap.
I think one I remember specifically. I get mixed up with them a lot, and there's one time I actually kind of went with it. When I was in the pug, actually, and so there's like a group of guys, E-boys, the F-boys, all of them, guys are just surrounding me.
You're
Careful what you say next.
Like, yo, dude, you're the owl boy. You're the owl boy. You made this pub. Like, yeah, dude. We're about to do some crazy things to this place, and they were just, they just got all excited, all pumped up that they got to meet me. None of them sent a friend request because they're all intimidated. But then, I was about to leave, and then I did get them to say, "Oh, dude, can't wait to see you next time." I was like, "I seen your friend request." Oh, by the way, no, not the owl boy. I'm the owl man, and I just left.
Dang.
All right. Well,
all right.
Now that we got that out of the way, I think it's time for Capitalist's legally bound ask question. All right, you signed the waiver, so you gotta answer this. We'll start off with Owl. How many times have you ERP'd, and who have you ERP'd with? You don't have to name names, but how many people?
Me.
Rip.
Oh wow.
Rip.
To be
You
honest,
got
That's a lot of
someone you
people.
VRP'd with in the
Yeah.
crowd.
9 times.
Holy Jesus. And with how many different people?
Waiting for that child support.
3.
Oh my
When you go on
god.
break.
I think I actually know all 3.
Okay.
Probably.
Oh.
All right. And now,
Alright, and TAWN.
TAWN, the red skin goddess.
Question to you.
2 people. And I don't know their names because it was back when I was like 12.
Oh wait. Wait.
Oh boy.
Oh, hold up.
Next question.
Hold up. So, next question is, okay, so Owl, this question back to you. So we know that you started VR chat back in the day, you know, back in the OG days, back in when people didn't know VR chat too well, were the smaller crowd, closer community. What do you think about the change from back when you first? Actually, when did you first start? How was it? And now, do you like how it is nowadays? Do you like the pug? Do you like the mirror dwellers? How everyone's in private world, the ERPing? What are your thoughts?
Honestly, I think this community has grown a lot, and it's really been pretty good. There's not too much cancer in this game anymore. I mean, there's
You
still
tell
a
it.
whole crowd crash. What?
Hey, keep going. Sorry.
Yo, he's just over motivated. I'm sorry. Security.
Security, get this guy out of here.
Get him out of here. Get him out
Come
of here.
here.
Basically,
Who these people think they are?
I've seen a lot of things. I've seen group analogies, ERP in public in the pub. I've seen Knuckles going rampant. The big Chungus guy, that was great. I think it's improved really nicely, and it's been going pretty well. I'm glad it's growing. I love going to like public worlds and seeing all the new users. It's great.
Oh, you know what? I have seen a lot of new users, a lot of white users, but don't you feel like the old school users are starting to be a bit more close knitted? Like they're not accepting other people as much, a bit more harder for new people to get into groups. Okay.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I see a lot of my friends list. A lot of them, I'm not gonna name any names. A lot of them just stick to private worlds, and it's hard to see them anymore because they just stay in their little.
Nigga,
shut up!
He's trying to talk.
Yeah. Audience, keep it down, audience, until we bring it up to,
Audience, we've got a complaint. We've got a complaint where we are over talking the guests, and they said that they will stop watching us, and we want to make that sponsorship. We want to make that sponsorship, right, Cap? Please. But okay.
Sponsored buggers.
You're not getting any money.
Yeah, you're not getting money. You're late.
We never
Yo,
asked you.
yo, let me reach out for you.
Let me ladder climb you.
So,
I'm- Let me ladder climb, dude.
stories. Speaking of interesting stories, guys, Con, would you be okay
Cap,
telling
if you
the
say
one story?
it, I will kill you. I will kill you.
Okay.
You'll be dead.
Okay. If you want to tell a story, you can tell a story. And you know what I'm talking about. All right, let's move on.
Oh, well, hold up, Cap. Cap, I do have a question for Ton.
Okay.
What?
So, Ton, when did you start playing VR chat? What month and year?
So I actually started playing after the whole Knuckles thing. So I waited until after that was finished before I started. So I guess you could say that I started after the popularity thing exploded and it died down a little bit. But I managed to make friends perfectly fine.
Okay, well, the question is, have you ever chilled with a big famous streamer group or anything? What's the most popular person you've been chilling with?
Well, hey, I'm B, I guess.
Okay. Oh, how is she?
Well, she was really nice. I ran into her and I just simply said like, "Hey, I like your stuff," and she's like, "Yay!" And she gave me hearts and stuff, and it was really nice.
Okay. Oh shit.
Aw.
So, I think we can all answer the question. Who's the most famous person you've interacted with and you either had a pleasurable experience with or a non-pleasurable experience? Because my pleasurable experience with a famous streamer.
I'm gonna answer this one.
Well, can I go first, please?
Oh, you got it. Yeah, let's go left to right.
Okay, thank you. I can go first. Anyways, my famous person that I really enjoyed meeting was Rafflegator. Now, everyone's going to say, I hate Rafflegator, blah, blah, blah. Listen, when I needed a stripper be, I'll make it a fake sexy Sunday, he came clutch. He said, you know what? I got you, fam. He didn't say it like that. He said, why did I give you a stripper? Give me money. I'll give you $20. He's like, no, make it 50. I'm like, no, 20. They give me a stripper. So I said, that's a really good guy. He helped a subscriber out. Most famous guy I met that I had a pleasurable experience with. How about you, Mr. Frost, famous streamer and chatterbaiter?
Let me think here.
When did you?
Well, I mean, most of like the times I've met streamers, it's been very brief. Like I know, like I saw Chips once, but like he kind of just ran away.
I got a story about it.
We were just like talking in a group, and he just walks in, and he's just like, "Oh no, oh no, oh no," and then leaves. Oh wait, actually, never mind. I actually had like a deep conversation. With it was, I believe it was 3 people, and we were talking about loyalty and what it means to be loyal to somebody, and whether you would call out a friend in a situation. It was Young Alpha, Prophet, and Chips.
Wait, Young Alpha's is he popular?
He's a mod for Chips.
That's your term of popularity.
He's using it for the clout.
Yo, like 2 minutes ago, I deleted a pending friend request from him. So, anyways, TAWN, how about you?
It depends on which Young Alpha you're talking about.
I don't know.
Is it YUNG or YOUNG?
Oh. It was a no.
Is it no? Okay, that's not the popular one.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, popular. Okay. TAWN, how about you?
Popular wise, honestly, like Hey Ambi is the only like famous person I've ever met, but I can vouch because Tim met her too.
Well, listen, we're not going to go out of our way to like go into your history, make sure you're telling the truth or anything. You can actually lie on this podcast. It's illegal, okay? How about you, Cap?
Oh, if we're lying, then I could say Cap's the most famous person I met.
Yeah, fuck you.
Haha, laugh track, go!
Yeah. I met a few. I usually meet this guy's friend when I hang out with him. He'll tell you about him in a second, maybe not. I was actually part of that chip store. Hey, shut up, audience. That chip story. Yeah. Let's see here.
Okay, Cap.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Let's keep it going.
Keep it going.
I met Rafflegator a few times because I joined his lobby a lot. Let's see. Yeah, either Rafflegator or this guy's friend. What about you, Al?
I know kind of a bunch of peeps. I know Small Dommy. She's pretty great.
Oh, Small Dommy. I actually watched a podcast of her. Really good.
Hazard VR. I don't know his Twitch's name, but it's Hazard. And then Snow SOS. He's a good friend of mine.
Oh.
Yeah.
So tell us. Can you tell us a bad time you had with Snow SOS? I heard that only good times happen about him. But how about a bad time? Any bad times where you guys ended up in a bad situation because of him? Maybe you guys went to the lollies and he did something, and then you guys got arrested or something.
Honestly, Snow's pretty. No. Oh. Okay. No, Snow is pretty chill, but he's also when he gets in the public world, he's pretty hyped up. He'll start hitting on the women out of nowhere, just like goes to town, full e-boy mode.
Wait, are you
have a story about Chips and Nuts? I do have it. That was Chip. This was the first ever streamer I ever met in this game. I went up to Huado. He got
You're one of the biggest ones.
completely ignored me. Completely ignored me and just walked away. But that's not all. I met
like
Nuts one time. I was hanging out with Hazard in the pub. She joined the world and started talking. And then I just said, I did my whole who thing, like, oh, who, how's it, who one? And then I walked away. And then Nuts blocks me. For no reason.
Ooh.
No reason. And then what's worse is because I joined Row, and luckily, another streamer I know, and I see Nuts playing Monopoly, or Chit's playing Monopoly, and Nuts is just a loading bar above the head. Just, just walking around.
Damn. So you're saying...
Hazard told me, I told Hazard about it. He said, oh yeah, it must have been a mistake. So next time she's on and with Hazard, he'll tell her to unblock me. So hopefully one of these days that'll be the case.
Okay. Oh, well, I'm happy that we have all had experiences, good and bad, with a popular streamer. But you know what? The streamers make this game flow, and usually they got a good community around them because, you know what? Going to the publics all the time, a lot of toxicity. And, hey, you know what? The streamers do have a good group of friends around them, and if you ever do manage to get into one, hey, usually it's a good group. So I'm happy that each of us here had a positive experience. So, Cap, do you want to do audience segment now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's pass it over to the audience.
All right,
Hi,
audience.
audience. You guys got any questions for us?
So what we're doing now is, do you guys have any questions for the people on stage? And if not, we'll be asking you guys questions. So, anyone have questions for the lovely Owl?
Owl! Yes!
Okay.
Owl!
What?
Early Owl.
I love you.
Who wants to ask?
Thank you for making the great pug.
Wrong Owl. I appreciate the
It's
gesture.
you, Owl. I love you.
Who?
That's a sad face. Yes.
All right. You know what? We'll be asking some audience questions, Cap. Can I have the lovely Kazari hop on stage again? I got something to ask you that I didn't ask you last week. Please.
Ooh.
Hop on stage.
Hop up here, Kazari.
Right on
you know the place.
Yeah, right on the
Oh, you have to respond to get out of the chair.
Oh, and also,
Shit, I can't get up.
people in Cap's chat and my chat, you can be writing questions for the people either on stage, for us, or in the audience. We'll be asking them periodically, so hey, don't be shy. Anything can be asked.
I have questions.
Can I ask a question?
Can I ask some questions?
Nah.
Okay.
We're asking this dude questions, guys. Down for a sec.
I had my hand up. He didn't. He just. I had my hand up. I had my hand up.
All right, Snow
We're asking this
SOS.
dude questions.
No,
We'll ask you guys questions in a sec.
Snow.
Snow.
Is it a question for Owl or is it for?
It's like a group thing. I just want to collect some spit. My mom said she wanted.
Alright, get out of here.
All right. So,
Just really fast.
so Kazari.
Where's our security?
Security.
So Kazari, the question I have for you that I asked last week is, do you feel stuck in your role ever? So you do have an ear fetish, pretty big one, and
Oh,
everyone knows you
that's
as
a big
that.
one.
Do you feel stuck in that role ever? Ever feel like it's getting you anxiety, depression, or anything?
Yes, maybe. You know, it's one of the things that I made public, and you know, I like it, but it's gotten to the point where usually I'll block somebody within the first words. If the first words out of somebody is the word Dumbo, you're getting blocked so fucking fast. It's not even fun. I've gotten to the point now. I've just gotten so it's
overdone.
driving me insane.
Okay. Well,
I don't sound like a snowflake, but I get a little fucking annoyed.
Okay, I feel it. So,
Mostly love Owl, but
do you feel like maybe, like, for example, do you have an alt account that it takes you away from this persona that you have, or any escape? And then, do you have any?
Not really. I mean, I have an alt account, but it's only So if I want to, get on and nobody, just want to be completely separated from everybody else. But
Okay.
I never really completely detached myself.
Okay, and then last question I have for you personally is, do you have any tips for people that feel like they're stuck in a role? I'll be asking you, Owl, later that same question, but any tips for people that feel
I
like
can
they're stuck in a
completely relate to
role
you, dude.
or anything like that?
I mean, you can always make another account and just don't use your old avatar, which is weird because for me in my case it's kind of hard because I spent 6+ months on this, so I don't want to just stop using it.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it makes me feel ooey when I'm using it.
Also, before I go, I know I keep on asking you a question, Kadari. I'm sorry. I'm just very fascinated. Do you feel like your friends? So let's say you know a friend for the 6 months that you had this avatar, you've been working hard on it. Do you feel like it's right? Like, let's say that you are tired of always having to act the same way in front of your friends, and you don't know how to get out of it, and like acting that same way to them. Is it a okay solution for you if you feel like you're stuck in a role to unfriend all your friends and move on by yourself?
I don't think I really had that problem because most people I know, they're pretty, they're pretty true friends, I guess you can call it that. I mean, it doesn't matter what I do; they're usually pretty good. Usually, that's why I'm kind of about adding friends with people. 'Cause I don't really know that many people like that. It takes a long time for me to meet somebody like that.
Oh, thank you for friending me then.
See, could you and him and I don't know about you.
Ash.
He's probably pretty cool. I like his name.
All right. Well,
Thank you.
does anyone else have a question for Kazari before we set him back, and they can ask Owl the question? All right. No. Well, Kazari, thank
I
you
don't
for
have a question, but I just want to say that I really dig those big ear avatars. I was one of them once. I love them so much.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yes.
I have a question.
All right, Captain Killer, what's your question?
Captain Killer's question.
Yeah, for Kazari. How difficult was it to make that avatar?
I mean, it wasn't difficult. It was difficult when it came to making it like optimized, but it wasn't as much difficult as it is like tedious having to go back and forth and consistently like improving it. Because to do this isn't like previous where I just took shit and just shoved it in there and said it's done. No, I actually had to like boolean in this and connect it and smooth it out. So this is like all one mesh, which took 2 days alone to do that, and then just took many months of just improving and smoothing and making sure things look right. Cause, it may look fine in Blender, but VRChat makes it look completely different.
You fucking ass.
All right. Well, thank you, Kazari. Thank you
Never
for
stop
answering our
trying.
questions.
Okay, I have a question for Owl.
Okay. Well, Owl, Kazari, please step down, and we'll go back to Owl. So,
Right.
Scar,
what's
what's
your
the
question,
question?
Scars?
Tim, help me. Tim.
Alright, Owl, do you love me?
What? I didn't hear that. What?
Yes!
What?
Don't worry.
Right.
Don't worry. Okay. So, Owl, the question I
I can't
had
believe you
for
answered
you.
that way, Owl. It really changed my opinion of you. But go ahead, Water.
What was the? I don't even know what the question was.
I love you, Owl.
I have to go eat.
All right. So, Owl, the question I had for
Wow.
you would be: do you feel stuck inside your role of being the Owl guy, the guy that who's? And also, what do you do to escape from that role?
I have to go
This
eat. I was
thing.
gonna die.
So,
I have spent literally 1,200 hours in this game saying the same word every day, hours on end. I'm so done, but I'm slowly. I took a mental break with this. Partially, the reason why I have this thing, I don't want to completely disregard the whole owl thing. Because if I would have, I would just change my owl name to my real name, because that's what I use for most games. But I like the owl thing. I hate it, but I love it. It's a really love-hate relationship with the whole owl thing.
okay.
I have Who on my face and have a bunch of owls on my body. And I think it's fine. I like this avatar a lot because it's not too much for me, for the whole owl. Because the owl for me is basically just a starting point. And I'm pretty sure you'll ask questions about this later on. when I first started being the owl,
Mm-hmm.
the origin story.
Do
Do you want me to go ahead and get into that?
You know what? You know what? Let me ask TAWN what the origin of her name is, and then we'll move to you for the same question. But it's quite an interesting tale you have.
Okay, mine's super boring. It's just a smaller abbreviation of my actual name.
Oh, what's her actual name?
Wait, this is abbreviation of your actual name?
Yeah.
Theresa. Her full name is Theresa, short name Tom.
No.
Shut up.
But Tawny. It's a short form of Tawny.
Oh, and what's the last name?
Oh.
You're just missing the Y.
Oh.
No doxing?
Okay.
No.
All right. Well,
What's your social security number?
all right. Actually,
Social Security owl.
so
Oh, dude, it's none of your business.
Frost, what is your origin?
My origin? Oh, I've said this before. It's a long story. Do you do you want me to go over it again?
Can we get like a TLDR?
I can do a summary. So, had a group of friends on Xbox. We all changed our names based on how our names were before. When I first started out, I was Frost. Then, as a nickname, I got Frosty. And then when I started this game, I just separated the two and did Frost T because Frosty wasn't available. So.
Oh, I get your name. That's funny.
Okay. And now, okay, Cap.
I got my name because I traded stocks when I started making this, and Capitalist was already taken. I was like, okay, what am I gonna try now? And I said, wait a second, okay, that's gonna be my name. And I thought I was so fucking smart because of it.
I'm only okay at Capitalist. I'm only okay.
Yeah. I should have made myself fake Capitalist.
Nah, listen, humble, okay, humble. Yeah, boo.
Yeah. All right, let's pass it off to you, Owl.
Yes, Owl.
Oh,
what
wait,
is yours?
Alright, the whole origin of my name first used to be on Steam. It used to be Owl of Wisdom. And because when I first got like, the whole Steam thing going on, I wanted to get a tattoo of an owl because it's my favorite animal, of course. But apparently that's too feminine to get a tattoo of an owl for a man. No tattoo artist will give it to me. So
Really?
my parents wouldn't let me because owls are women tattoos. Whoops.
Really?
Yes,
I don't
apparently
think that.
so.
I don't think
Yeah,
that at
that's
all.
weird.
It's very weird. But
Well, look
after
at you
that,
now.
it went from the Owl of Wisdom to the OWLMAN.
No, he's a girl furry on VR chat.
Well, I guess, yeah, I kind of did.
Mom,
I guess,
proud
yeah,
now,
I guess you
Mom.
were kinda right.
Wow.
Yeah, look at him
Because
now.
Mom was right.
Well, it turned into the OWLMAN, and because I was playing Counter-Strike at the time with a whole bunch of friends, and like, oh, the OWLMAN, so I can just like become that and be a sniper, like in TF2, which I do play that. And then when I went to VRChat, it's still the OWLMAN and all that. Just over time, I just started just hooing. I don't know why I started hooing. I just like, wait a minute, owl. I can be. Then I had an epiphany, like, oh my god, I can become an owl in VR chat and just start hooing at people. It'll be great. But it took me when I first got it. It took me 24 hours to find an owl avatar, because there's like none public. Except the owl one that was in earlier before I changed into this one. The original owl. Like, go ahead, pop that up. The original OWLMAN.
Ooh, and
Please.
speaking of being,
Continue going.
I love that one. That's the one I met you in.
So,
living public.
yeah. So, speaking of when you first joined, when I first met you, Owl, you had who-offs with people. You want to go and expand on that a little bit?
Sure. Well, oh god. Okay. So, when I first started hooing, it it was like I think maybe a month after I got the game.
Secure.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Well, it was maybe about a month I got into the game, and I started to hoo at someone. They hooed back. That like gave me an adrenaline rush every time someone said hoo back, because it was just like, oh, I'm doing it. I'm living in the. And,
I'm an actual owl.
and
Yeah.
So they hooed back. Then I hooed back. Then that just kept going and going. I only kept going because of the people's reactions to it. Because we sat in one spot in the pug for about 2 hours and 7 minutes, if I remember correctly, saying who, just who. But secretly enough, funny enough, actually, people don't know this. I love this as one person. And it's great. I didn't start doing the who-offs. That wasn't the first thing. The first thing was whenever someone said a proper verb, that's when I say who. Like when someone mentions I, he, she, them, a name, something like that, I would say who.
Yeah,
and
that's
people
good.
would try to have conversations with me. And there's this one guy who was Shaggy. He's tried so hard to keep the Shaggy voice when you try to have a conversation with me. And he was high like all the time when he was with me, and he just couldn't keep up the conversation going for not even 5 minutes. It was great. But the who-offs, I did that 5 times. I
remember.
people.
Did you ever
I
lose?
walked into on 2 of them.
One of them was 2 hours and 7 minutes. One of them was 2 hours and 10 minutes. One of them was about an hour and a half. And then the other one, not the last one, but the fourth one, that's about 4 hours and 30 minutes.
Oh shit.
Yeah, was it the Groot guy?
It was the Groot, yes.
I remember walking on that twice.
He would say, I would say who, he would say I'm Groot. And we kept that up for about 4.5 hours.
Damn.
It was crazy times back then.
And then the last 2 was when I started streaming for the first time. And I couldn't keep that up. Like, dude, I told the guy, like, hey man, I have to work now. I can't do this anymore. And then that guy now, you remember him, Frodo Sympathies? Remember Frodo?
Damn, a little bit.
A little bit. Well, that's now we're just basically good brother friends. That's great. And that's it. That's pretty much the whole origin of the Who. And only you, Capitalist, and other old friends bring that up. Some people still try to spark it out of me. I'm like, nah, I'm not catching that.
Putting it down real
Yeah,
fast.
how about that?
Oh, actually, Frost, have you ever met Owl when he was doing the Whoing contest or back in the day?
Well, I have a little story about when I met this guy.
Yes.
Dare I say what you were asking when I met you?
Oh,
It was about
I remember this.
a white dragon from How to Tame Your Dragon.
Oh no! Oh no!
Why don't you tell all our viewers?
Dare I say?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
you dare do say, Frost.
So yeah, I was I can't remember specific circumstances, but I do remember this specific person walking up to me and asking me, "Hey, would you do the white dragon from How to Tame Your Dragon?"
I trained you. Oh, okay.
And we were having an in-depth conversation about this.
I was streaming and I was in a box with a whole bunch of friends, like the group I was with, and one of them brought up effing dragons and having sex with dragons. So some person in my chat just like saying, "Oh, would you do a dragon?" It's like, wait a minute. Let me get more specific with this. At first, it was, would you do a dragon from How to Train Your Dragon? And then it became, oh, would you do the white dragon? Because it's new and it's better, in my opinion. So I went to public pugs and just like asked people that. And so I met this guy with a bunch of his friends. I don't know what they were doing, but I remember they were just so uncomfortable the whole time.
You were in this specific avatar too. I think it was like a Nanachi.
I Train Your Dragon. Like I would bring up stories, just make up stories like, oh yeah, you know Hiccup's dad. Oh, you think he just often liked dragons one day? No, he got with a lady dragon, had some good memories, and boom, he loves dragons now. And then that was
All right. That's
All
it.
right. All right.
That's that.
Oh, and also, Frost, I swear to God, if you touch your headset one more time, I'm gonna go to your house and drop kick you right in the face through your headset. Every time, it sounds like he's fucking scraping like chalkboard or something. But anyways, Cap, do you mind if I have an audio segment real quick with someone special?
All right, sure.
My special queen, Captain Killers, hop on up.
I'm special. Give me 1 second.
You knew exactly what you would.
Of course it is. So,
Alright, what's up?
alright, so the reason why I would want you up, and I got some questions for you. Captain Killers here is a long-term VRChat vet, and he's had VR for a long time, but what people don't know is that he has a new index controllers. Show it off real quick, real quick.
Ooh.
Alright, yo, let's get a zoom in on
You
that.
can't do this.
Yeah, there we go. So, can you explain the differences between what you had before, what it was, what you have now, the limitations, the freedoms?
Yeah. So what I had before was the shitty.
I'm in control of it now. I'm in control of it now.
You're in control of this. Anyways,
Get back up
so what I had before was the Vive wands, and if you don't know what the Vive wands are, they're the basic Vive controllers that you get with your HTC Vive. And I'm gonna tell you right now, they're absolute garbage. They're really big. There's like basic controls. There are no analog sticks. There's no actual buttons. It's just a touchpad. It's like 2 really bad buttons, and there's grips on them, right? They're really big, and I mean the tracking is great. I love the tracking, but with these new controllers, they're smaller. They literally just like go on your hands, so I'm not always afraid of like throwing my controllers on my monitor screen. You know, that's always a fear. That's just like the Wii controllers. You can't do this. You can't do this on those controllers, which is one of the biggest reasons why I got these index controllers in the first place. The finger movements is just way too much. What the limitations though between those controllers is definitely this, and the analog sticks. You can't normally on how to move on a Vive wand. You have to like put your finger on where you want to go on a touchpad, and then that's how you'll move. But on the thing, you just use an analog stick, so it's much more fluent and it's a lot better. Just like if you're using a normal controller.
Woo! Super Smash Bros. Clap.
Super Smash Bros. Well, do you have any other questions for Cam? Because I think I got a good question for one of our audience members. Not our audience. Oh wait, what's up?
I'm all good.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right, Gap.
All right, Captain, get out of here. You embarrassed me in front of my friend Swagger. You embarrassed me. Get out of here.
You embarrassed him.
I hope so.
All right, so what do you have, Mr. Cap?
All right. So, Owl, let's move back onto you for this one. You said you'd be willing to answer a lot of questions on this, right?
Yes, I am.
We all know the life of streamers aren't all rosy and cool. Would you mind going into the details between you and Moon?
Oh, that whole debacle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
If you don't
sure.
want
Welcome
to,
back, Rain. I'm happy that you're
Oh.
back.
I need a chance to bash Moon and expose her as who she really is.
Ooh,
I'm okay
I'm
with
liking
that.
this.
All right, detail,
Honestly,
drama.
I love it. Give us the
Drama,
deets.
drama. I hate it, but it makes me so mad. Okay. basically, Moon in the Snow group and the Snow Sources group, it's pretty much just a loud, obnoxious woman. Like I used to think she was cool. I didn't really acknowledge her until I started to notice like how bad she was being treated. I never knew the reason why she was being treated badly at first. And then so I was like, I'm gonna give her a chance. I'm gonna try to be friends with her and just give her the benefit of the doubt. So I did that. And we played games together. We streamed together actually. We played more Kombat, we played Risk of Rain, and just hung out in Vrchat a lot. And for about a week. This friendship lasted a week. And
Not even a week.
I'll start going south because I won't lie. I will not lie. I started to develop feelings for her. Like, yeah, she's a really good friend, and I kind of like her. And so when I told her, like, hey, I like you, I'm interested in dating at some point. Blah, 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 that type of thing. She didn't deny me. She didn't say yes or she didn't say no either. She told me it's not a yes, but it's not a no. Because at the time, she was still with a rogue. But she described her relationship with the rogue as a very toxic and unhealthy relationship. So I was like, all right, let's just see what she wants to do, and then we can go from there. And so I did a thing that was pretty dumb in my opinion. After we started hanging out a lot and just growing to like each other more and more, I grown to like her more and more, I should say. I presented an idea to her. An idea. What if we were laughing before we did this? Like, what if we did this thing? What if we go up to Snow on his stream, and I tell Snow that I like you, Moon, and she started laughing, and it's like, oh, you want to do it? It's like, yeah, let's do it. I asked her 4 times. 4 times total, if this was okay for me to do. And she all said yes. Said yes. All 4 times. So I do the thing, and then I got permission to do the thing, then I do it, all hell breaks loose. All hell breaks loose.
Oh, I remember this time. I remember.
She threw me under the bus so quickly, it wasn't even 5 minutes after it happened. Basically, people just, as soon as I left, because I was like all excited about how to go to bed because I work in the morning, I was like, I told her bye and all that jazz, and then apparently she got bombarded by a bunch of friends and questioning what was going on, blah, 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 blah. And she started to make up stories, or make up a story that's completely different from the real one. Basically telling people how controlling I was controlling and just like telling her not to do things, even though that's not true. Like, I don't care what you do. We were just friends. I wanted to get to know her more and eventually date her at some point. But no. Like, she would tell, like, she does do lap dances. I don't know if she still does. But I was okay with that. She gave me free lap dances, but that wasn't it. The only reason why she gave me lap dances it was an excuse for me to get closer to her and be able to talk to her privately. Because I couldn't care less about the dances. Honestly, lap dances don't do anything for me. They really don't. So it's pretty much useless. I just want to talk to her more. And then Snow got involved and threatening. It's like, just like saying, hey, you need to get your stuff straight. I heard you've been making people uncomfortable, blah, blah, blah. And just a lot of people weren't hearing my side of the story, and I couldn't get my side heard at all, only by a select few people. And so when that all cleared up, now Moon is just, I don't know what she's doing anymore. She's getting slowly kicked out of the group.
Last I heard,
slowly kicked out of the group.
She's been joining another streamer group. I can't remember her name.
Oh, probably. She's a huge clout chaser.
Now, Owl, here's a follow-up question to that. Are you disappointed with your friend's response to what happened to the whole event?
Honestly, I understood completely because they don't want drama. I won't name any names of this person because it's a little too personal. But this person kind of just tried to sweep it under the rug,
Oh.
and in the worst way possible.
We're doing a podcast. No worries. Continue about.
Like they tried, like she tried to sweep it under the rug in the worst way possible. Like, the worst thing to drama, to get rid of drama, is not to just ignore it. That's not how it works. You have to acknowledge it at some point. But she kept on just avoiding my questions, saying, "Oh, just drop it, just drop it." Like, you haven't even heard my side of the story yet. Oh, I don't care. I've already heard the story. Like, oh, okay, the Moon's story, and apparently, Moon deleted some DMs of ours. Me and Moon's DMs. She deleted some messages that completely contradicts her side of the story. But in the messages, you can see where I asked a question, and then between that, she was supposed to say it's not yes, it's not no, and then I reply with "Oh, thank God," and I respond to her response, and so you can clearly tell stuff was deleted. And I'm pretty sure she got someone to screenshot them and Photoshop messages or whatever, and send it off to the no-name person. I'm not gonna name names. I kind of just wanted to sweep it under the rug. A lot of friends supported me and agrees with my side of the story because it wasn't just me that Moon has done this to. She's done this to Templeton, done this to another person and another person, and just I'm not the first case of this happening. So Moon is a whore.
Oh, interesting.
Hey man,
that's leaving it at that.
Yo, listen. She's been part of Stealth RG's group, Raw Gage's group. I'm pretty sure almost every famous streamer group. And now she's on the YouTuber side. Like, she's going. She's making moves. But
oh, they should know. They should know on her Patreon. You can pay her $25 to get a lap dance.
Oh, what? Yo, what's a Patreon?
What is it? Just for like, it's like for.
I don't know. I don't care. No.
Well, we're gonna put this up after the stream just to make fun of it and like not donate.
Yeah, just make fun of it.
Now, how much is it for
$25, I believe.
25? Holy, that's cheap.
I would do it.
It used to be 35, but her viewers were such white knights because all they do is defend her.
Well, obviously. But they want to go get. They want to get mod status so they can go be her TwitchCon bag holder or her merch holder.
Ooh, yes, indeed. Ooh, so this brings up an interesting question I just thought of. Speaking of white knights and orbiters and that type of thing, in your little group, because you hang out with a lot of streamers, do you often encounter ladder climbers, white knights, orbiters, just leeches in general?
Oh, yeah.
And you got, what's the worst story?
Apparently, stories? I won't name his name because it gives him too much credit. But the Suns group, he has a huge cloud chaser and orbiter because this guy kept joining his world when he friending other friends of his friends and joining friends of guest worlds and stuff like that. And he just kept plugging his stuff and kept plugging his stuff.
Oh, I know this guy. I know this guy because I was there for one of those.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. It name begins with an M.
Interesting.
And then he kept getting blocked, and so he kept making new accounts and joining people and friending his friends and kept joining, and so it was just a huge deal. I wasn't there since the beginning of it, but I was there at the ending of it. So that was always it was just a huge thing. It was hilarious and sad at the same time.
Yeah.
Well,
and I see just small little leeches in here and there, but nothing too major.
I actually have a question for TAWN, if you don't mind. Take it off Owl for a bit. I know he's a chatterbox. All I hear from him is
I was actually going to take this question over to TAWN too.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, you want me to go first or should I ask mine?
No, continue your question. Ask again, just in case.
Okay. So, Tan, have you ever had to deal with like creepy people, stalkers, white knights, beta orbiters?
The guy on your right.
And what was your experience with them?
Surprisingly, no. Like,
Really?
I guess I'm not really in that crowd, so I don't really have to deal with those people.
She had an orbiter.
Of course, you hear like horror stories and stuff like that, but no, I've never really had a stalker or anything like that.
Interesting. Look at you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm too ugly for that.
Well, no, listen. From your personality, you sound like a charm to be around. But my question is, I want to know more about you. So earlier, when you were introducing yourself, you were saying you're a creator of sorts. Can you go a bit more deeper into it? How you got into it? What?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, like I'm a legit artist. Oops. Cap's seen my work, but so. Yeah, mostly I'm just like an artist. I sell at like anime conventions across like Canada and stuff like that.
I'm in Canada.
We
should definitely go to Anime North or something.
I've been. This year was my 8th year going to Anime North.
Oh, congratulations!
I go every year. I started going when I was 16 years old. But I have a lot of cosplay friends. I cosplay myself, but I wouldn't say like I'm anywhere on their level kind of thing. My friends are pretty big into it, so I know some that have quite a few followers, and I'm sure they've dealt with like creepy people and stuff like that, especially at anime conventions coming up and trying to stalk them and, get the clout and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But luckily, I usually stay out of the drama as much as I can.
Okay, well, how did you become an artist? Like, did you have to hide artwork from your parents because you're drawing? From a friend of mine, she was saying that she had to hide drawings of her drawing nude people. She wanted to get into that field. Did you ever have any of that experience? How did you get in? Any? Oh
no, I was kind of lucky because I literally started drawing like as soon as I could hold a pencil. But I was lucky because my mother actually did she liked painting and stuff like that, and my dad was a musician. So my mother actually usually encouraged me to draw, and if she did come in when I was drawing something like more lewd or something, it wasn't really a big deal because she understood like the artist's perspective of you have to learn from somewhere, right? It's not always a sexual thing when you're learning from anatomy and stuff like that.
So where did you go for research? Like, you got to have some kind of examples to put in front of you, right?
Yeah, references are very important for drawing and stuff like that. There's not, no good artist doesn't use a reference. It's basically the internet, right? It just started when I was young, so it was just basic enough to look up, chest, and then that would come up, right, for if you wanted to draw that.
And any tips you have for someone that's either entering the field and also for someone that's been in the field for a while? Do you have any tips for them?
Yeah, never trace. Tracing and referencing is two different things.
So I guess tracing would be...
Tracing is literally importing the picture into Photoshop and tracing right on it. That doesn't teach you anything. But if you have the picture up beside it and you're actually looking at it and trying to reference it beside you, then that's actually referencing. Tracing, it doesn't teach your brain what an object actually looks like, because you literally have to train your eye as an artist to be a good artist. So actually using a reference away from that and not right underneath actually helps train your eye to learn what you're drawing.
And what is your most favorite type of either drawing or digital art or painting? What's your most favorite type of artwork?
I'm a digital artist, so I do a lot of fan art. I mostly just draw girls, and yeah, I like more realistic, semi-realistic. But when it comes to my stickers and stuff like that, I draw more cutesy stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a fastball at you. Have you ever drawn furry stuff? Anything lewd for monetary value?
Yes.
Explain, please.
I haven't drawn.
I'm sorry.
I haven't drawn lewd stuff for monetary gain. But I have a lot of furry friends. So if they have an OC or something that I think is really cute, then sometimes I'll just draw it for them.
Right.
But when it comes to lewd stuff, yeah, I haven't really been paid for that.
All right, and I
Been
guess
paid for that yet.
the last question would be so you know, I'm a famous Twitch streamer, and I can always use a good emote for my Watermelon Justice at Twitch.tv channel. We should definitely talk about it afterwards, as both fellow Canadians, you know. Definitely like.
Oh, believe me,
Alright.
I've tried. I've tried.
Yeah, but you're American. You're a
Even
capitalist.
I asked you for money, and Cap was like, "Nope, I don't have $20 for you."
Yeah,
Hold on,
he's
hold
only
on.
okay
Wait,
capitalist.
hold
He's
on.
only okay.
Hold on. We'll
Dang.
talk after this, Tom. We will talk after this.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
I
all
will
right.
counter expose. I offered her per hour, and she said sure. And she never got back to me.
All right. Well,
Yeah, I said,
Oh.
sure, you have to send me details of what you want me to draw, Cap. I can't just make up something.
I forgot about that.
Oh my god.
all right. Well, I do have. I want to open this
all right.
to the audience. Audience, do you have any questions for either Owl Dot or Ton over here, or even myself, Cap, Frost? Any questions? Don't be shy. I know a few of you are quite interesting individuals. No?
Don't
Okay.
get up all at once, guys.
Well, I got a question for you then. Ranka, get your ass up here, Ranka.
Get up here, Ranka.
Ooh.
Oh, that got his attention.
Get your ass up here.
Fuck.
Oh, I'm gonna enjoy asking this guy some questions.
Yeah. So hop right here on the chair. On the
Son
chair.
of a bitch.
Ranka, hop on the
I'm coming.
hop on the table. Hop on the table. Why are you getting so close?
Hop on the table. Get,
You're on
get
top
off of me.
You're on top
Get
of
off
Cap.
me.
You're on top of Cap right now.
Get off of me.
Hop on the coffee
I can't
table
see anybody.
in
Oh,
between me.
Cap, dude.
The
Oh, for
table.
me,
The
Cap is
table.
literally sitting on top of the.
Yeah, no, don't worry.
bleachers.
You're decent. It's
My
fine.
bad.
Yeah, you're perfect right there, buddy. So, Ranko, the reason why I wanted you
Perfect.
on the hold on, let me just zoom out a bit. Why I wanted to have you up here, I want to ask you some questions. So, guys, this is Ranka. He's a very talented dancer on VRChat nowadays. He didn't always used to be a dancer. He used to be a hip hop dancer. Now he's a stripper dancer. Fantastic. Anyways, what are your thoughts on the dancing community on VRChat? Be honest.
I think it's cool. I think it's really cool. I think I run into people all the time that would never dance in real life, and since it's VR chat, no one can actually see you. You can be whatever you want to be. They decided they want to dance, and they have a lot of fun with it. So I love the community. Like I don't know a lot about all the little clubs that people have, or what goes on inside of them. Just from what I see on the surface, I think it's a great community.
Okay. And you yourself
So,
have IRL dancing experience before this, right?
a little bit, yeah.
So, have you gained any skill that you can bring to IRL from VR chat, or is it mostly you have to reinvent movement from IRL into VR chat?
Yeah, I know that I've told you before it's a lot different, and the things that you focus on are kind of similar, like your feet, where your hands are, your hips, but then again, like you lose your shoulders, you lose your elbows and your knees, and a lot of movement around the chest. So I would love to see somebody dance like they were in VR in real life. I think it'd be extremely interesting. But I think that it's a whole nother thing. You still move to music, but the way that you move is a little bit different. It also depends on what you're doing too. Like if you're doing more freestyle stuff, there's a whole lot of stuff you can do in here that you can't do out there, and there's a whole lot of stuff you can do out there that you cannot do in here. So it's like two different worlds, but you still dance all the same.
Okay. And would you recommend someone that's on the fence about getting full body or not? Should they get full body?
Do it. Because like I don't even think I would love this game as much if I didn't have it. Like I come in here for the people and for the connections, but it just wouldn't be complete without it. It's just not. Like I couldn't play it without it.
I like that.
I
And
really get it. It's a whole nother experience.
for people that want to get into the dancing scene, what would you recommend that they what do you recommend that they start?
You'll run into somebody that dances. Just dance with them, friend them, dance with them, and chances are they're going to know a lot more people that dance, and they'll be able to take you to meet them, and then maybe they'll invite you to a club to dance with them, or just get out and dance. Like, there's really no excuse. You find a bunch of people partying, you get out there and you dance. That's all you got to do.
Okay. And Cap, do you have
Yeah.
any questions for Renka outside of the dancing thing, or even on the dancing?
I got one question. I got one just general question for my chat. Renka, have you ever gotten blackout drunk in VR?
All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, Renka.
Let's talk about it.
I never thought I had before. I'm pretty sure, like, I woke up on the ground knowing that I drank a lot, but I always think I passed out, like, when I just laid down. You know? Like, so I guess the night goes on further, and I just don't remember it.
Oh.
And people have told me a lot of stories where, I don't remember participating in anything.
Damn.
Pictures.
Oh, pictures, you say? Well, we'll be posting that to our Discord later today, guys.
Yep, it's Keep It Blank Discord. Just find it there.
Keep it blank.
All right, but yeah.
And I guess it's just a general question. Oh.
No, go.
Go ahead. Oh, I guess this is more of a just general question I got from my chat, because I promised I'd ask him that. How about the rest of you guys? Owl, Ton, Frost?
I
Water,
do not get
Frost?
blackout drunk in VR.
I've never been drunk.
Fact.
I've never been
same
drunk
here,
in
Tom.
VR chat.
I don't even drink.
Oh, you're missing out.
I
Oh.
hate the taste of
Oh,
alcohol.
you're
No, I
also
can't
too young,
drink
I
alone.
believe.
So the only person left to answer is Frost.
I can't drink alone. She says
drink.
I can't drink alone.
I just
Not
can't buy
American.
it.
I never drink alone. I always drink with Frost tea.
Now let's throw some
I
major
don't
tea
wanna
out
drink
there for all
Frosty.
our audience. Frosty, how old are you?
Oh, Frost tea is a hoot. He's 21. He's 21.
21, you say? What year was he born?
1997.
That's interesting. He'd be
What?
22 by
Oh,
now.
never mind. That's
Because I was born in 1997, actually, Ranka.
Hush. Hush.
Alright, well that's enough
Doesn't matter.
exposing Frosty and Ranka. Let's
All
see.
right, well, Renka.
So Frosty,
Rango.
Ton?
What's your setup? Are you using a Vive with additions?
Mhm. Yep.
Ooh.
5 with
now-
the trackers and.
Now, have you ever met the Oculus 360 setup? Like
Mhm.
anyone else that dances using that?
Oh, I've heard of people using like the Kinect with the Oculus,
Yeah.
and it's cool. But like, there are so many things that you're gonna wind up trying to do, and I don't think that the Kinect can really keep up. Like, it does great if you're just want to get up and move, you know, and participate. But I
Oh.
think like
On this
if
subject,
you ever want to go further, you just better have the right
so
things.
because you got the Connect facing you, it doesn't see anything behind you. You have to face the Connect, and you can only dance it like that. So if you wanna, do the shuffle or anything and turn sideways, it won't catch it. So if you're gonna,
So the solution is just to get 2 connects.
well, you can
I
actually.
don't think that's the
No,
I
you
think
can.
someone
So-
did that. Yeah, I think someone's actually done that.
So with VR full
Interesting.
body, the different ways you guys can do it. The most optimal way I would recommend is get just full Vive. Headset Vive trackers. That's the best way as of right now. In the future there will be other ways, but as of right now, that's the best way. If you got Oculus, yes you can get Vive trackers. That's the second best way. Vive tracker with Oculus headset. You gotta get a bit more hardware. You gotta get 2 Vive lighthouses with the Vive trackers plus your Oculus setup, and you gotta download some free software. You can do some paid software as well, but that's the second best option. The third best option is something called I can't remember what it's called, but they're rings. They're a lot cheaper. I think they're $80 for the full set. There's a ring that goes over each ankle and at your waist and at your wrist, and that tracks where it is, and it is the third best option to my knowledge. You can use either Oculus headset or Vive headset with that. The fourth best way would
They
be
have the Lomo too.
yeah, that is true. The actually, the local cat is coming out in a month, I believe. They're as big as like hockey pucks, just a bit smaller, and you just like hook them up to a strap on each leg, and on your waist is like a little belt buckle. That's coming out in like a month. They're saying it should be almost as good as Vive tracking. I don't believe it, but to each their own. But I do think the Connect version with the Oculus, I met friends with it. You can't do anything with it. All you can do is pretty much sit down, as I currently am, and you're facing the Connect. If you wanted to dance, you'd be doing like this. If you went sideways, you lose tracking. As I currently was losing tracking. But yeah, if you want full body, go. You get what you pay for, technically. That's pretty much what I gotta say on that. And anyone got a question for Renka, or can we send him back down to the abyss?
I think we're good.
All right, Renka, thank you for
The
coming up.
abyss it is.
Back into obscurity. Go.
All right. So, Mr. Cap, do you have anyone in the audience you want to talk to, or do you want to bring it back to Owl?
Hold on. I got one question for John. Yo, John, do you got a mic? That's not the question. Yeah, you.
He says no.
Get a mic. No?
Oh, actually, Cap,
Okay.
before
All right,
we
well,
ask questions.
Mic. What?
Oh, no. I asked John a question, then I'll ask Mr.
Okay.
Frost.
John, I've had one question for you, and I'm just wondering this. You followed me on Twitch. Is that you in the pictures of your, like, Twitch thing? Holy fuck, this guy is fucking buff. He's huge. He's built like a fucking tank.
So, John, I want you to be careful. I am also buff IRL, and Cap has sent me multiple requests to ERP, so please beware.
That is not true. That's not true.
Alright,
I'd like to clarify for legal reasons that's a joke. Alright, John, that was my question for you, my man.
Alright, but Frost,
This guy is buff as fuck.
the question I have for you is, you've been so fucking quiet on the podcast. Ask each TAWN and Owl a question, or you're kicked. You're fired.
A deep personal question that provides plenty of content.
This would be like the fourth time.
Are you supposed to be a host?
Yes.
I thought he was a guest this whole time.
Holy shit, Tom.
We're not paying him any money.
Yeah, it's because I don't get this monetized. They're not letting me ladder climb, so I don't host. Let me think here. First of all, I think I may have asked this question to you before, Tom, but have you made any avatars, like, through Unity, because of Vrchat or anything like that? Yes?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Are they avatars that you wear a lot, or, like, you just...
Every once in a while, just to flex that I have made an avatar, but they're not good, so not really.
They've offered to help you, Ton.
I don't have time.
Was it from scratch, or was it, like, mix and match from VRC mods, Unity, that type of stuff?
It's mostly just, like, I would import an avatar into Blender, change the textures out, stuff like that, maybe add something, and then just re-upload it into Unity. But, I haven't done, like, mouse tracking or eye tracking yet or anything like that, so once I have some time, then I'll try that, and obviously get help from Cats.
Easy. You just need the Cats plugin, that's fine.
I have the Cats plugin. I just haven't messed around with it yet.
Alright. Let me think of a
Come on, Frost. One more to meet your quota, and then you won't get fired.
Quota.
Yeah, meet your quota.
Do you have full body?
What?
That's your question? That's your question.
No, it's a lead up. It's a lead up. It's a lead up. It's a lead up.
No, it better be. It better be.
What's the question?
Yeah,
Do
full
you
body
have
tracking.
full body?
No, I do not.
No. Why did you choose not to get full body? You've been in Vrchat for a little bit.
Wow, you think it's a choice? I don't get it. I am poor. Okay. I wanted to get into this actually because the whole dancing community
Mhm.
If and when I get full body, I've been doing boxing and martial arts for about 7 years now, and I want to start teaching to other full body users how to box in VR chat, and I want to start a community of that and just start training people. I feel like that'd be really cool, and I want actually going to college for kinesiology. And to be a personal trainer IRL, so I want to be a boxing coach. Anyway,
Owl,
this week I experience.
you know what? I know a lot of different fields of people bringing their real life talents into VR chat and teaching them. I know pole dancers, I know fitness people, I know yoga instructors, I know all that. The one thing that they all tell me is that, like how Ranka brought it up, on the full body, you don't have your shoulders, you don't have your knees. They are going to eventually get, so Steam VR only supports up to 3 trackers, 2 ankles and the waist. As of right now, I mean, VR chat only supports it like that. Eventually, we can get more as soon as they develop it like that. But as of right now, that's all you have. So you can get a general feel on how they're standing, but you can't tell someone is extending their arm, either overextending or doing it right in VR chat. But you don't see their shoulder, you don't see their elbow. But I do believe it's a good start.
Well, the point is, the reason why I feel like I can teach someone how to box decently well with the current state of tracking for VR, because the main thing with boxing are your hips and your legs, your ankles specifically. I see this in a lot of boxing. In the philosophy of boxing, your ankles should never touch the ground. Your heels should never touch the ground whatsoever. You become slower. Your legs become heavy. You need to be light on your feet, always bouncing around, so your legs never get tired. Legs never become heavy, because once that happens, you become a sitting duck in the center of a ring or in the middle of a fight. They'll prey on you as soon as those heels touch the ground.
Interesting.
And the fight with Jake Paul, Jake Paul,
Jake Paul,
Logan Paul, and KSI. It was so frustrating watching that fight. It was like watching a little street fight, but it had rules in it. That's pretty much all that fight was. It was so amateurish. They didn't know what they were doing. There's so many mistakes. So many. I mean, come on. It's simple. Their legs are way too wide. Oh my god, it was so annoying.
Do you feel like the fight was rigged? Do you feel like the tie was rigged?
Oh, it was totally rigged. It's a YouTuber fight. Of course
I was just gonna say it's a YouTuber fight. Oh, definitely rigged.
Listen, man, I lost money on that, okay? I'm disappointed. Anyways.
That's why they made it a tie.
Anyways, so...
I actually have a question for you and Cap, actually. As well. So we met each other through RP, like through improvised RP,
yes.
And through all of that.
I didn't meet you through RP.
Well, we've had some RPs in the past that you've been a part of.
What the hell is this guy talking about?
You become more relevant. Okay, you become more relevant now than you were back then. But
I'm
how
sorry.
did you guys get into RP, and what made you decide to actually branch out and do it in VR chat?
So I guess I can go first. So about like 5-6 months, in like from May to September, of last year, I was watching a few streamers play VR chat, and I was like, you know what, they're pretty fun. First, I got in through, it was Great Khan, who was doing his Morgan Freeman expression. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. I saw it on YouTube, went over to Twitch, and then I saw Stealth RG. I'm like, oh shit, this guy's really cool. And then it was kind of got cringe moments. I was like, all right, let's check out a few different ones. So I checked out Gator. I hated his chat for the first 2 weeks. I like, this is so toxic. But the content is there. The RP is great. This was when Nuts was there, Chips. They were all RPing, Vigor, all that. And I like, you know what? I like the community. And then I saw Nags21 on YouTube. He did a good family RP. I like, yo, this is fun. They're all having fun, bringing people together, having a good time. So I said, you know what? One day I'll go in VR. Oh, well, VR chat. But I'm not going to go in VR chat without VR. is then you're just a lower tier citizen. There's no point. Why are you gonna be a lower tier citizen when you can be a high tier citizen? So one day I just decided, you know what? Yeah, I'll splurge. Spent what 600 to get a VR Vive. Went in, started RPing. First RP was as a bartender. I think everyone's first RP is as a bartender. Here's your drinks, here are drinks, here are drinks. But that was too boring. So I started asking people weird ass shit. Like, are you a furry? Are you gonna go cut off, if you cut off your dick, would you keep it in a jar or would you destroy it? Owl said he was going to incinerate his. Fucking weirdo. I'll keep my jar.
Yeah, I know. We could save it later on, but he just wanted to make it go away.
Yeah, like I'll keep it in a jar and hope in the next 5-10 years, like there's some kind of surgery that can replace it. But he said that he just incinerate his. Like I'm like, okay, weird.
Dick replaceable surgery.
Yeah, I'll just ask
You
weird
can only
questions.
keep it for so long before the nerves in it die.
Yeah,
you can clone it.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta find a way to preserve it.
Yeah,
before
pickle juice. I told
that
you.
technology does.
Haven't you ever seen
that's
Jurassic
not-
Park?
They
We
didn't
clone
develop it.
dinosaurs.
So.
Have you ever seen a dinosaur dick? Have you ever seen a dinosaur dick?
It's real and
Have
yeah.
you?
Have you ever seen?
Yeah.
I think I have. I think they have bones in it.
Ton fucking draw it. I fucking saw that shit.
Yeah, it's on her furry art account. For Affinity, that's what it's called, for Affinity.
But yeah.
For Affinity.
You know this.
So Watermelon, you didn't start RPing until VR chat then.
Yeah, that was my. Oh, I did do.
And how long have you been playing VR chat?
Since September, pretty much. I have like 1,300 hours. I used to be on VR chat every day for like about 5-6 hours. Now I'm about every day for like 2 to 3 hours, maybe 4 if I'm feeling a bit frisky that day. But yeah, I like the RP of comedy in mind. I don't really do serious. If you put me in a serious situation, I'll try to bring comedy into it, and serious people do not like me for that. That's for sure.
Well, Cap's seen when I roleplay, and it's never PG-13.
Oh, it's great.
And
I love you
under.
for that,
It's
Tom.
up.
It's great.
Uh-huh. I like RPs
right,
that have
so-
no limit.
Oh, mine is no limit.
Yo, fuck
Cap,
yeah.
so how long have you been
Interesting.
role-playing for?
Oh, good question. Good question.
Pretty much only when like a person whose name is Dogeman, right? He said, "I'm gonna start up an RP. You guys need to join." So I was like, "All right, I'll be a dick because no one else wants to be a dick."
I was a dick.
But guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Here's the thing about being a dick on roleplay, guys. Once you're a dick, all the main RPers, they want to kill you off right away, alright? You know, fuck, you say, oh, the coffee's too cold. Well, guess what? Fucking bang, dead. Oh, fucking, I gotta take a shit right now. Can't do it. Bang, dead. Fuck, it's pretty cloudy today. It's fucking bang. It's like... it's pretty much
So
all
how
RPs
long-
that I'm in. I can't get off.
So
whenever
how long
Doge
has it been?
started. Fucking probably like 6 months now.
About the same time as me.
So y'all are babies.
Oh,
Well,
I'm sorry. We're not,
I will
not
say
RPers.
this. You can't compare to my RP, okay? My RP is on another level where I can go into a world and I can get the whole entire world revolving around me. They'll orbit around me in my own twisted fantasy, and it's great.
Yeah, you got orbiters.
Listen,
Well, I'm just asking because I don't know how deeper anybody else is with roleplay, but I was like one of those weird like weed people when I was younger. I started on like Gaia Online and shit like that.
I was on that too. I was on that
Yeah,
too.
role playing on the forums and in towns, and then I don't know. I moved. Well, actually, before Gaia Online, it was this stupid like stick person game called Stick Arena, and in the lobby, all the people would role play in it, and it wasn't even like a role play game. And that was like when I was like 10 years old. Oh, and before that, there was Club Penguin.
Club Penguin.
Club Penguin.
Club
It's still a
Penguin.
thing. They have a
So-
fan-made browser.
Yeah.
It's still a thing. It's
That's
still
just
going
like how
strong.
long ago was that? It's like 10 billion years. And here we are now, still role playing in fucking VR chat.
Well, did you ever do Second Life or IMVU?
No, that shit was cancer.
So, originally, Second Life was actually same thing as VR chat, mainly ERP. At the very corners was ERP, but then ERP became the main thing. I never took Second Life as like a fun place to be in. I maybe played it for like 5 hours before I got off. But hey, it used to be a fun place to do like VR chat. So don't hate it. IMVU though, that was a fun.
I believe it.
That was
I
a weird
believe
place.
it in the beginning. But yeah. No, my friend played IMVU, and that's how I know that it was like really bad. It was just a bunch of like 12-year-olds cybering each other on couches and shit. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a good question.
I never really got into
Owl.
the whole RP thing.
Ooh.
Oh.
No.
How long have you been role playing for?
Oh, I never really got into the RP thing. It's kind of difficult for me because my personality in game is my personality everywhere else. IRL, any other game, it's hard for me to play character when I'm always myself anyway. The only difference is in this game, I who. Outside of the real world, I don't. And so, a couple of times, the who thing leaked IRL because it was such a habit. It was a whole. Asked my mom, "Hey, how's it whoing?" I told my boss. I went to one of my coworkers and just said "who," like out of nowhere. I was like, "Crap! Why did I do that?" And it only happened a couple of times. I'm so glad. That's when they decided I'm done with the whole owl thing when it started leaking into real life. Okay. But other than that, RP, it's really hard to get serious because I don't know what to do with RP. I can improv every now and again, but I can't just do RP for that long. I can't play character for that long.
Well, you know what?
I don't know. I never I would say it's improv, very close to that.
Well, you know what? I also can't do serious. If you put me in a serious situation where there's no comedy allowed, I have to play a character. I personally can do it. I just don't want to. I really don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I stay away from it. But I do have a question. Well, not a question, but an invitation for you guys, TAWN and Owl. Every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do an improv night where I, the wonderful Watermelon Justice, will give you guys fucked up scenarios and you guys have to act it out. I'll give you guys characters. So, for example, we'll do a Maury show. I'll give a host, a guy and a girl, and it's all improv. What the host says is improv. What you guys react is improv. And the beauty of it is that every group that goes up, it's a different group, and they're always having something interesting to do. Like we had a cop scene where someone gets pulled over, how you react. Or
he's actually serious about this too, by the way. It is quite crazy. If you guys are interested, just let us know.
I'm interested.
Yeah,
I'm kind of interested in that. I feel like it'll be
Crazy
fun.
is my middle name.
If you guys want, you guys
we're gonna do some messed up shit then.
It's Wednesday. It's Friends Plus lobby, and then if it gets too hectic, we go Invite Plus. And yeah, it's just a fun time. Definitely worth a check. We've been doing it for 3 weeks now. And yeah, that's pretty much invitation for everyone in the audience as well. It's improv. If you are shit at improv or you think you're not as good as someone else, hey, come by. We're all just having a laugh.
Get out.
And
your shit, get out.
Oh, actually, you know
Natural selection.
TAWN, do you have any tips for someone that wants to get into RP or improv? What they can, for my tip would be, stick to what you know. If someone's talking to you and they mention two things, one thing you don't know, one thing that you do know, focus on the thing you know. And just go that route.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Like my thing's voices, so I like to do different voices and stuff like that. So I find if I could stick with doing that, I feel more comfortable doing improv and stuff when I could do different voices.
Okay.
I could be more in character.
Okay. And also, the last tip that I would give is never say no. So if someone says the sky is blue, well, you know what, the sky is blue. But if they say, oh, in the next scenario, oh, the sky's purple, the sky's purple. You gotta continue the conversation. If you say no, you stop the conversation there. So you have to continue going with it. And eventually, it ends up where it's a purple sky, you're fighting like 5 different lollies. You got your buddy who's a furry guarding your back. Like some crazy shit happens.
Oh, well, careful of that one.
Water loves it when people ruin his RPs. Water loves it when someone says, no, this is a game. We're
Not a
actually
game.
at a
Stop
bar.
ruining my immersion.
You're an anime boy in a game.
Oh, also, that's
I
a,
can agree with what
Yeah.
Watermelon said. I can agree with like when I do like improv stuff when I stream, when I used to stream a lot, I would go on a public website, start making jokes, starting conversations. Definitely, I always tell people, if you can't play along in VR chat, what are you even doing here?
Mhm.
Mhm.
You gotta learn to just
Good point.
play
Good
along.
point right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Just, it's fake. It's not real. Just play along. Pretend to just act gay. Sometimes I don't care. Do whatever you gotta do to make
What-
this game fun.
That's the fun of it.
whoa, what?
Wait, what? What was that last bit?
I was just giving an example, like act gay, act furry, act some blah 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 blah. Do anything you want to do.
I do not
That's
condone
to
that.
make this game more enjoyable. What? How is that a problem? How is it an issue?
Well, I do have to.
What you don't like?
Well, I do
How
want
is
to
that
jump.
an issue?
I want to jump on that a bit. With improv, you have to have a fear of death. So your character is real. So if someone like Cap has a gun and says, "I'm gonna shoot you if you don't do this," it's not he wants to shoot you. He wants to progress the situation to a point where the next stage can happen. So if you don't care about your character, say, I'm not gonna do what you want, and then you get shot, you gotta be dead. You can't be like, oh, I'm invincible. It doesn't work. You have to either choose, okay, am I gonna listen to what he says, or I'm not gonna listen to what he says. And based off what your choice is, you either continue the arc with your character doing what he wants, or you don't continue the arc and you get shot and killed. You have to have a fear of death.
Rule number 2 of improv RP: never got RP.
Yeah, rule number 3, your
Oh no.
character isn't above consequences. As I'll say that as the guy who's murdered continuously on every RP for being just the slightest annoyance to people,
You
alright?
just gotta got RP, dude. You just gotta say I'm
I'm
not
sorry. You managed to clean up 15 bodies in 10 seconds when the police were coming? Oh, well, I guess that's a reasonable explanation. Shit, why didn't I think of magic? It's true, too.
Oh, you know what? I do have a question for
my.
TAWN and Owl. What did you guys play before VR chat? Like, did you guys play Destiny 2? Did you guys play Fortnite? Did you guys play like RTSs? We'll go with TAWN first. Ladies first, you know.
Ladies.
Oh wait, no, you know, hold up. Owl, you're first. I'm sorry, TAWN.
What?
Oh.
Why?
Non-human species first.
Oh, I guess so.
Oh my God.
When I first got, I didn't have a computer in my life. I only had my computer for maybe 2 years now. When I first got, the only reason why I wanted a computer is to just play Overwatch. So I play a lot of Overwatch. And it's Overwatch, Destiny, Skyrim. I played a lot. I played the hell out of Skyrim. Holy hell, too many hours in Skyrim. But yeah, I didn't really get into Dota or League or anything like that. That's just Overwatch and shooters, Destiny.
Okay. How about you, TAWN?
I'm not actually that big of a gamer. I actually didn't really start playing games until I started playing like VR chat again because I got my Oculus and my Switch at the same time. So I started playing both things at the same time. So I was like obviously started playing Mario Odyssey and stuff like that again. But before that, drawing takes up a lot of my time, so I never really played a lot of computer games despite having Steam and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. All right, and
oh yeah, I did still have like a Game Boy Advance. I still have my Game Boy. I still play that quite often.
You still play that today?
Oh yeah, it's so much fun. Pokemon Leaf Green, best game.
Yeah.
Yo, get an emulator. Put that
I still
shit on
play
your
my
PC.
N64.
Well, yeah,
No,
N64
dude, you
is
can
lit.
have the nostalgia feel.
Yeah.
But do you have the backlight on?
Nostalgia feel.
do you got the backlight on?
Oh, well, I never had a Game Boy Color. I had the Game Boy Advance SP.
Oh, the SP. Okay.
That's what I had.
So it was already. You know what? I still remember the Game Boy Advance where if your mom's driving and it's dark as shit, like you got your Game Boy out the window trying to like get the light. Terrible time. Fun time. Terrible time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cap, you want to do another audience segment?
Yeah, sure. Let's do an audience segment here.
Ario.
All right. Hey. Oh, Ario.
Please hop on
Yeah,
this
Ario.
coffee desk.
You guys got questions for them too. You can ask me too, or Tom, if you got a question for this
So,
one.
welcome, Ario. I hope you had a good like 4 days. She was on our last episode, the lovely Ario. So, she's actually a very talented artist herself. She made Cap's newest emote for his
Our
Twitch.
buddies.
So, Ario, I wanted to
Hell yeah.
ask. I don't think we asked last time. What is the weirdest thing you've ever been either commissioned to draw or decided to draw because you're very bored at that moment?
Ooh, that's a good one.
There's one that I can't really say on stream.
No.
on stream or anything.
No. You can say it.
You can general description.
You can say it.
But there was
place
one
words or
where.
something else.
Okay, I mean it's. I'll tell you guys later. But there was another one that I've done where my friend was like, "Hey, can you commission like this like character that you've been like drawing lately?" And I'm like, "Okay, and what do you want?" And they're like, "Oh, well, I want it to be like kind of like naked and all this other stuff." And I'm just like, "Oh." And I asked him why. He's like, "Well, because she's kind of hot." I'm like, "Oh."
Oh.
Oh. That's my
It's funny if you
character.
say
I'm just like, that's basically
awkward.
my character. And I was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And so I did it anyway.
That's
no.
steamy.
Interesting. Did he pay you for it?
Yeah.
All right. And was she hot?
You paid dearly. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's my question for her. I forgot to ask it last week. Do you have a question? Anyone?
Oreo, what's the oldest piece of artwork that you have?
That's a
That
good
you've
question. I have a artwork that I've done like 8 years ago, basically. That I've done, but I've never.
Was it on
I've
paper
shared it.
or?
It was digital.
It was digital. Oh, I guess 8 years isn't that long ago. I forget I'm old.
Super old.
About to die.
What?
Yeah. Come on.
All right. Well,
I have a question.
shoot, Owl.
For how you translating?
Who?
Shut up.
My dog's barking.
And then, well, how do you? First question: you do commissions, correct?
Yes.
How my other question to go along with that? How many commissions have you taken at once? That kind of have you ever gotten stressed out by doing too many commissions at once?
I've gotten like 4 commissions in one day before. And it got to the point where I'm just taking 1 per day. To the point where I'm just not overflowing with like everything. Because it's a hassle.
Oh man.
You know what? I kind of like this Owl guy. Can we get rid of Frost? Put him on the podcast?
Yeah. You want to be a clone? We'll get rid of him tomorrow.
This is like the 4th time, Tom. This is the 4th time.
This is right there. That's
We're going for a streak. Every single podcast, I'm gonna be kicked
You
out.
know what? I want to test Owl's skill as a host. Does anyone else have a question for Oreo, or can I put this to the test?
I think I'm
Alright.
ready for the test.
All right, thank you, Ariel, for your time. Please sit down. I got the test right here. Mika Lad, please hop on stage. Mika, I see you up there.
Mika Lad.
Yeah, hop on stage. Don't worry.
What the fuck?
Listen, I'm working something. Come on, Mika Lad.
You the owl.
I see you back there.
Quaint
It's okay.
owls.
Oh, that's my friend Quinn Owls.
All right, fine.
Quaint.
All right, Quaint, hop on stage. Quaint, hop on stage.
Quaint and Mika, get up here.
No, Mika's shy. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. Yeah, hop on the coffee table. No, Quaint, hop on the.
Quaint, get up here.
Quaint, hop on.
Wait, you get up here.
So, Owl, I'm putting you to the test. You are now going to be asking Quaint here, who is also an owl, some questions. I just want to see, can you improv being a host on a luxurious TV show?
Course.
Ooh, let's see.
All right. What's your podcast called?
Oh, do it for the
It's called
content.
Capitalist is a...
No,
Shit.
it's Do It for the Content podcast. This is your host, OWLMAN talking. So please.
So please, everyone be respectful.
Quaint owls. First question, pretty basic. Where'd you get your name come from? That's because
I like owls. I think they're quaint. There you go.
Hell yeah. You know what? I appreciate that. I respect that a lot. You know what? Do you have any? What's your favorite owl, by the way? Because mine is a barn owl. I want to know what yours is.
Snowy, I suppose.
Oh hell yeah! Now, have you ever thought of?
I still have a question.
Say, drawing yourself as an owl?
I can't draw, so.
Dang it.
Alright.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Alright, hold up, Owl, hold up. TAWN, what was your question?
Got it.
Now, Quaint. We have learned from the other owl that owl tattoos are only for females. Would you get an owl tattoo?
I have an owl tattoo. What's that supposed to mean?
Damn.
I mean, if I ever consider getting a tattoo, sure, I'd get an owl. I love owls.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Aww.
Thanks.
Okay.
Shut up, Frost.
I mean, if I ever get one.
Alright, back to you, Owl Man.
Crap, I lost my train of thought, but I can do this. Alright. Have you ever, do you know any of the type of, what's like, how should I put this? What is your stance in this VRChat community? Are you just some guy who plays the game, or do you know some people? Like, who do you know?
I mean, I know these people.
Owl.
Oh, sorry. I apologize.
That's okay, I get it a lot. It's fine.
Okay.
Even I asked her the question about the owl.
Okay. You know what? Hold up. Let's slow it down. So, Quaint, do you want to address the world or whoever's watching about the struggle of having a bit of a deeper voice for a female?
Oh yeah, where's the camera?
Just the audience.
Who do I have to face the audience?
Yeah.
I need to set the camera.
Okay, people of VRChat, it's very interesting because I don't even put on the voice. Okay, I just sound like this, and people convince I'm like, oh yeah, Rank over there. I see you.
You poor soul.
And yeah, there's some people who are convinced
Joey,
I'm like,
down.
Rank
Come on.
up, and
Off stage.
yeah. It's very interesting.
Thank you.
I usually walk around as a guy avatar to see what the reaction is. A lot of people do think I'm a girl because, you know, I figured, I have a feminine sort of sounding voice, but apparently not so much.
I'll be honest, I don't even know what I said.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I could tell.
Man, dude, or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Terrible host. We're demonetized.
If I say dude, I call everyone dude.
Yeah.
I call everyone dude. Male or female. Dude for me is just a general statement. I call everyone dude.
I call everyone a dude and bro. It's all good.
Alright, just to finish up on that question, Quaint. So, nowadays you just roll with it. You don't care as much. What do you have to say for the people who are also in your position? Maybe they're struggling with it. Maybe they have not come to terms with it. What do you got to say to them?
Well, depends on the person, really. Personally, I just find it funny and see. I even ask them what they think of it, and like, oh, and then some of them get it either right or wrong. Then I'll be like, okay, and then I tell them that I am indeed a girl, even though they're not convinced. Wake up.
Yeah, Ranker was not convinced.
I'm not surprised anymore. I see lots of people with. I know a 14-year-old boy who sounds exactly like Swagger Souls, and he even has a deeper voice than Swagger Souls.
Is his name Swagger Soul in here?
Yo, is he
Yeah,
Swagger
what's his
Soul?
name? Swagger Souls.
You mean Swagger Soul, who was in our audience earlier?
I also know this other boy who has a really feminine voice, and he sounds like a woman. And he actually plays along with it. He tells people he's a woman, but the other day he told me he was a dude, and I was like, oh, okay, I don't really care. I could care less what you are. You're a cool person, and that's all you really care about. That's why I love VRchat, because I get to know people for their personalities. I don't know what they sound like, what they look like. I just love it. I love getting to know people. That's what this game is. It's a social interaction simulator. That's what VRchat is.
It's just a game,
Yeah.
okay, Owl? It's just a game.
It's just a game.
The guy that has the whole vibe set up.
It's a very expensive game.
It's just the game, eh,
It's a
Watermelon?
very expensive game.
You're Canadian. It's even worse. You spent over $1,000 on that setup.
Chump
Listen.
change for Watermelon. Big time streamer, dude. Big time streamer.
Listen, I ERP for my Vive, okay? I do what needs to get done, Ton.
Yeah, okay.
It's a backbreaking process. But yeah. So
We're getting
Literally?
close to 2 hours now.
yeah. Oh, so okay. So I guess this is a podcast. We'll do some final questions. Does anyone in the audience have any questions for the people on stage? Damn, silence. Okay. Okay, guess we're unpopular. Shit.
Stinks.
All right, guys. Thank
Boo.
you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
We're washed up.
One more thing. Before we get off, we were able to get Owl up here in Ton last second. But I'd like to shout out Owl, and Owl, shout out your Twitch real quick, because I know you're going to get back and start streaming.
Yeah, no, I wasn't gonna stop.
I
was
am
gonna do that
getting
anyways.
back in this stream.
All right, go. Shoot.
I am getting back in this stream a little bit. My Twitch, the OWLMAN 5, because some cuck took the OWLMAN, so I had to put a number in it. So it's OWLMAN 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
It's,
Owl, what is your content gonna be about?
my content is literally pretty much chill, going around improving in public world sometimes and just hanging out.
Will we
Yeah,
ever
just
see a Hooing
talking, nothing
contest
too
in the
crazy.
future?
Ooh.
Now that you
Please.
say it and mention it, and because of this,
Who?
damn right.
Fuck yeah!
He's challenging you. He's challenging you.
Yo, listen.
Not right. Wait.
Yes, right now. What?
I'm off the next 4 days. I can go for 4 days if you're in for it.
Stay safe to work tomorrow morning. Who?
Ooh. Don't challenge Owl.
This is it.
Listen,
All right.
I'm not doing it for 4 days. I apologize. I have better things to do with my life.
All right.
Oh, wait.
No, he has postponed
Ton.
He has postponed it. All right, Ton. So tell us, where can we
Ton,
find
shout
you?
out your-
What do you have? Shout out your shit. I got that, Cap. Thank you. And what is your content? What is your future content gonna be about?
Okay, well,
Watermelon.
my content is literally just art. I don't really stream much. I stream rarely, but if you want to find me, you can find me on Instagram, TAWNY illustrations. So Tawny Illustrations.
All right.
yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Hell
Fuck
yeah.
yeah.
Amazing artist.
And this is
Quaint,
Quaint.
shout out your Instagram.
You can actually
Hello.
Yeah, it's my Instagram.
Quaint.
I don't have any.
Quaint, shout out your Discord. Quaint, shout out your
no,
shout out
thanks.
your home address, please.
All right, you guys can find
I live in
Quaint.
Australia. That's all you need to know.
So
Why don't you sound Australian?
I know. It's a weird story. They'll tell you about it later.
Well, you can actually find Quaint on a lot of streamers' YouTube videos. She's actually quite popular. A lot of interesting
She's actually even on
subjects happen.
Pokelaws. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Pokelaws quite a bit.
Yeah, I was on Pokeballs once. That was interesting.
Yep.
That was the one time. What you mean?
And also, you can find the now fired Frost T at twitch.tv, Chillstep Frost. He usually has some Rocket League gameplay going, some Champion League, and he might need the money, so please
Make sure you
support him.
subscribe
Please
to
support
the
him.
premium Snapchat. I have a premium Snapchat.
Oh god.
For 5 easy payments of $60, you can have access to my private Snapchat DMs. All right.
He'll send you dick pics. He's being serious.
Make sure to send it to me via Patreon.
I mean, he's fired. He needs the money.
That's it.
I'll do it.
It's not on my Twitch. It's not on my Twitch description, but I'm sure you'll find a way to give that money.
So, once again, that's twitch.tv/chillstepfrost. Does some Rocket League gameplay and also has a Snapchat premium, all that bullshit. You got OK Capitalist. We got twitch.tv/OKCap.
I think everyone here knows who I am. I think everyone here knows who I am.
Cap, on your
No.
stream, I just saw it. It's all green, oranges, and purples. There's no green. There's no gold. So,
What do you mean?
you got no friends in the crowd.
Screw you too, crowd. I don't need you.
Capitalist. I have
Hey.
Hi, Frost.
3 friends in the crowd.
Fuck
Oh,
you.
Andy just
I've
left.
been streaming.
But yeah, Cap, shout out your shit. Finish it.
Oh, Twitch TV/OKCapitalist. That's it.
Alright, and this is Watermelon Justice
Yeah.
at twitch.tv/Watermelon Justice. You can find me there, but this was Do It For The Content podcast. Thank you for watching. We're on Spotify, Anchor, and nowhere else so far, but we're getting there. So thank you for watching. Thank you, crowd. Thank you, audience. Thank you, followers.
Let's go!
Oh,
Yep.
God.
Yeah, dude, for the content.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
Oh my god. I'm just gonna
Oh, God.
I'm just gonna